Welcome to the Nutrition SoundBytes podcast, a production of UCSF Student Health and Counseling Services. I'm Jessica Jones, your host and resident student health dietitian, and this podcast will use a science-based approach to answer all of your burning nutrition questions. Our goal is to help you live your healthiest life that you actually enjoy living. Want your question featured on the next episode? Email it to jessica.jones@ucsf.edu. Now, let's get to it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nutrition SoundBytes podcast. And today's question is, what are healthy snacks and how often should you be snacking? This is an excellent question, and I love that you asked this because it's something that people ask me on a daily basis because they're pretty unsure what healthy snacks even are and whether or not they should even be snacking in the first place. So let's just start off with what are healthy snacks. Now, I like to recommend that my patients try to have a balance of complex carbs, fats, and or protein when it comes to the snacks that they're choosing. So let's start with the complex carbs. I typically recommend that people try to choose something like a piece of fruit or a vegetable or even a whole grain. And the reason being is because you're going to get a lot of different vitamins and minerals from these foods, but you're also going to get a lot of fiber. And fiber is great because it helps us feel full and satisfied, and it also helps to slow the release of sugar into the bloodstream. Now, paired with that complex carbohydrate snack, I like to recommend that people pick a fat and or a protein. And the reason being is because fats and proteins will help to stabilize your blood sugar levels and keep you feeling satisfied with a continuous stream of energy for a longer period of time. Now, examples of proteins that would be good in the context of a healthy balanced snack would be something like Greek yogurt or even some kind of nut like almonds, or you can even do string cheese or a hard-boiled egg. Those are all good examples of fats or proteins. And some of those examples, like the Greek yogurt, even contain carbohydrates as well. Now, let's move on to some actual concrete healthy snack ideas. Some of my favorites to recommend include a cup of plain Greek yogurt. It can be either 2% or full fat with a small handful of nuts and a half a cup of berries. Another example is half of a turkey sandwich on multigrain or whole wheat bread with lettuce and tomato. You can even do a medium-sized piece of fruit and a small handful of nuts, or 1 to 2 tablespoons of peanut butter with half a banana. If you're a chocolate lover, you can even do 1 ounce of dark chocolate covered almonds or a tablespoon of dark chocolate chips with a small handful of nuts. And if you feel like you really don't have any time, you can pre-cook hard-boiled eggs and serve that with a slice of whole wheat toast. And if you feel like you have a hard time getting enough vegetables in during the day, you might even want to consider something like chopped carrots and cucumber served with hummus or even guacamole. I bet by now you can see that when it comes to snacks, the possibilities are literally endless. What's important is to make sure you're choosing a balance of carbs and fats and or protein. Okay, now on to the second part of the question. How often should you be snacking? Like so many things in the world of health sciences, the answer is it depends. Now, one of the biggest factors that's going to determine whether or not you snack and how often you snack is your GI health. For example, I have a fair amount of patients who have things like acid reflux or GERD, and they find that instead of having 3 square meals a day, they do a lot better with 3 small meals and a couple of snacks in between. And so that's a case where having more snacks or having more frequent smaller meals might be a little easier to digest and better for their GI system. The next factor that's really important in determining your snack habits is your lifestyle. So I have a lot of patients who might be really busy, they work on campus, maybe they're in the dental clinic or they have medical rotations, and they find that they really just don't have time to be having all of these snacks throughout the day. And they do a lot better when they have 3 solid meals that kind of can give them a sustained source of energy. And so in this case, snacking might not be that feasible for your lifestyle, and you might do better off without having that many snacks, or just having snacks here and there when you really feel like you need them, or when you might have to skip a meal because things are just so intense with your schedule. On the flip side, you might be somebody who maybe sits at a desk all day or for most of the day and has a little bit more access to snacks. So in that case, you might have up to 2 or even 3 snacks per day, especially if you're kind of having balanced snacks that give you that good sustained energy. Now, the last factor that I really like to look at when it comes to whether or not you should snack and how often is your hunger. Now, I am a dietitian who really likes to practice intuitive eating, and 2 of the most important principles of intuitive eating are honoring your hunger and respecting your fullness. So if you're hungry and there's going to be more than an hour until your next meal, you should absolutely have a snack. And that can really help you determine through trial and error how often you need to have snacks and where you should strategically place them throughout the day. All right, I hope that answers your question on what snacks I recommend and what factors you should really consider when it comes to whether or not you should be snacking throughout the day and how frequently. Now, if you have a question that you want answered, make sure to email it to me at jessica.jones@ucsf.edu, and I'll make sure to feature it on an upcoming podcast episode. Until next time, bye.